Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss one important thing that is very essential for our life. What is this? Yes, water. There is no life on earth without water. Today we are going to discuss water, chapter 16. Life almost certainty originated in water. From conception to birth, a child is nurtured in a sack of water. Right? We know that water is in its pure form is a clear, colorless, odorless and tasteless liquid. Right? Okay, we know that water is essential for the existence of plant and animal life. Rainfall is responsible for the growth of wild grasses and trees, which in turn help protect the earth's surface from soil erosion emanating from the effects of wind and rainfall action. Then, World Water Day. We celebrated World Water Day on 22 March. You are perhaps aware that 22 March is celebrated as the World Water Day. Okay, what is the message you get from some posters like this? Save every drop, our world depends on it. Save the water. What is the message you get from these posters? Yes. Have you ever felt a shortage of water at home or at school? Really, your parents or teachers must very often be advising you not to waste water. No wonder we celebrate Water Day every year to attract the attention of everybody towards the importance of conserving water. So we can say that we celebrate Water Day to remember or to get attention of everybody towards the importance of conserving water. The amount of water recommended by the United Nations for drinking, washing, cooking and maintaining proper hygiene is a minimum 50 liters per person per day. This amount is about 2.5 buckets of water per person per day. Is your family getting at least this much of water? Yes. You should consider yourself fortunate because millions of people in our country do not get enough water. What about your friends and their families? Okay, in some places there is an acute shortage of water. You can see in this picture long queue for water. Okay, taps running dry, long queues for water, fights, marches and protest for demand of water have become a common sight, right? Especially during summers. Some of the newspaper clips are shown clearly indicate this message. Yes. Is it not true that we face acute shortage of water? Yes. So we can see that some problems faced by the people due to the water shortage. Water shortage has become a matter of concern throughout the world. It is estimated that in a few years from now, more than 1/3 of the people in the world could face water scarcity. Okay. We know that Earth appears blue from space. Year 2003 was observed as the International Year of Fresh Water to make people aware of this dwindling natural resource. Okay, so year 2003 was observed as the International Year of Fresh Water. How much water is available? Okay. Yes, this is a picture of Earth. It appears blue from space. Why does it appear blue? Yes, surely. Because 3/4 of Earth contains what? Water. You are aware that about 71% of the earth surface is covered with what? Water. Almost all the water on the earth is contained in the seas and oceans, rivers, lakes, ice caps, as groundwater and in the atmosphere. However, most of this water is not fit for human consumption. Right? The water that is fit for use is what? Yes, fresh water. Okay, let us perform an activity to estimate roughly the relative amount of water available in some of these sources. Okay, let us do one experiment. Most of us assume water to be a limited resource. From this activity, can you appreciate the actual amount of water available for human use? Okay, there are different steps, 4 steps. First one, take a medium-sized bucket and fill it up with water. It contains about 20 liters of water. Okay, then what is the remark? Assume that this water represents all the water present on the earth. So, this bucket full of water is assumed that the water present on the earth. Okay, then second step, take a teaspoon of about 5 ml capacity and transfer 100 spoons of water from the bucket to a small container. Okay, like a bath mug. So transfer to the bath mug about 100 spoons of water. Okay, so what is this represents what? Total fresh water on the earth. So what do you mean by fresh water? Yes, the water that is fit for use is fresh water. So this mug contains fresh water. Okay, next step, from the bath mug transfer 30 spoons of water to a glass tumbler. Now took a glass and then transfer 30 spoons of water. Then this represents what? Yes, water present as groundwater. Okay, then last step, finally take out a quarter, 1/4 spoonful of water from the mug. Okay, this glass tumbler. Then it represents all the water present in all the lakes and rivers of the world. Okay, this is the activity. So very small amount of water is present in our earth. The water left in the bucket represents the saline water present in the seas, oceans and partly as groundwater. This water is not fit for human use. Okay, only fresh water is fit for human use. The water left in the bath mug represents the water which is present in the frozen in glaciers, ice caps and permanent snow. Again, it is not available readily. Right? Yes. Next one, forms of water. Are you afraid that continuous use will someday exhaust all the water available for use? Yes, you know that water on the earth has been maintained for millions of years by various processes which make the water cycle. You have studied the water cycle in class 6th. Okay. You know that when water circulates through the water cycle, it can be found in all the 3 forms. Which are the forms? Yes, solid form, liquid form and gaseous form. The solid form, snow and ice, is present as ice caps at the poles of the earth. Okay. Then snow covered mountains and glaciers. Liquid water is present in oceans, lakes, rivers and even underground. And the gaseous forms is the water vapor present in the air around us. There are 3 forms of water: solid, liquid and gas. The solid form is found in the poles of earth, snow covered mountains and glaciers. And liquid water is present in where? Oceans, lakes, rivers, etc. And gaseous forms around our air. Okay, air around us. So the continuous cycling of water among its 3 forms keeps the total amount of water on the earth constant, even when the whole world is using it. Okay. Okay students, now we are going to our last session, exercise. First question, explain water cycle with figure. So you explain water cycle with figure. Second one, which are the forms of water? Write the 3 forms of water. Third one, which day we celebrate as World Water Day?
Welcome to the lesson on water cycle. At the end of this,
Ouch! Why did you push me?
I didn't push you. You were in my way.
Look, Mr.
Droppy. That's my name. Look, I'm too tired to fight with you.
Hey, look, Droppy. I don't want to fight with you either. By the way, I'm Drippy. Why do you look tired?
After traveling through a network of pipes, I guess anybody will be tired.
Where have you come from?
I've come all the way from the Rayleigh Lake.
I know that. I'm from there too. That's the lake that supplies water to the city.
Does the city have other sources of water too?
Oh yes, ponds, wells, streams and rivers supply water to the city. Aren't you aware of this?
Well, this is my first visit to the Rayleigh Lake. Until yesterday, I was a part of the Azure Sea.
Huh? How did this change of address from the sea to the lake take place?
Through the water cycle.
Oh, so you used a water cycle to travel from the sea to the lake?
Oh, no. This water cycle isn't the cycle you're thinking of. It's the circulation of water between water bodies such as oceans and seas and land. It's through this water cycle that I became a part of the Rayleigh Lake.
Interesting. I would love to know more about the water cycle.
As I said, I was a part of the Azure Sea. I used to stay at the bottom of the seafloor. Life was lovely out there. And mind you, I used to be quite different. A variety of salts, like sodium chloride, calcium, magnesium, and potassium, were present inside me. One day, I decided to move up the seafloor and discover the outside world. So, there I was, floating on the sea surface. The sun was at its brightest best, and I was enjoying its warmth. Suddenly, I started feeling giddy. You see, I was beginning to evaporate.
Beginning to what?
Evaporate. You see, when heat is applied to water, it starts turning into vapor. This process is called evaporation. In my case, the heat of the sun turned me from water into water vapor.
Why didn't you choose a shady place? At least you wouldn't have evaporated.
That would have made no difference.
How could that be?
Drippy, do you know that the sun warms up the surrounding air as well? The temperature of the atmosphere would have caused me to evaporate anyway. Only it would have taken place at a slower rate. Because evaporation takes place faster in direct sunlight than in a shady area.
How did you feel after converting into water vapor?
I felt lighter, as the salts present inside me were left behind in the sea.
What happened after you became water vapor?
Well, I was carried away by the warm air that was filled with water vapor.
Where did this water vapor come from?
From all the places wherever water was present, including wet clothes, fields, oceans, ponds, and plants as well.
Water vapor from plants? How's that possible?
Well, plants take in water to grow, as well as to prepare their food. They retain the water they need and release the excess water into the air as water vapor through leaves and the stem.
This process is called transpiration. So you were inside the warm air that was filled with water vapor. Good for you. Droppy, did you enjoy your stay inside the warm air?
No, it was quite nasty out there. I was sweating pretty heavily. But things started improving when the warm air, which was lighter than the cold air, started rising up and became cooler.
Now, how does the rising up of warm air cause it to cool down?
Drippy, as we move higher from the surface of the earth, it begins to get cooler. Naturally, when warm air rises, it also starts to cool down.
Did you shiver once the temperature dropped down?
No, but me and the rest of the water vapor started condensing. Or rather, we started turning into tiny water droplets. And soon, there were millions of water droplets floating in the sky.
I wonder how the sky must have looked like with those millions of water droplets floating around.
Well, the droplets appeared as a cloud.
Now, if 1 billion water droplets are floating up there, it sure will appear like a crowd.
Drippy, I said cloud, not crowd.
You mean that the white, fluffy, cotton-like stuff one sees in the sky actually contains tiny droplets of water?
Yes, and all these droplets collect to form bigger drops of water. Some of them may become too heavy to remain in the sky and fall down as rain. Do you know that I could have been converted into hail or snow?
You as hail or snow? That's difficult to imagine.
Well, if it were really very cold, I would have become snow or hail instead of a water droplet, and would have settled maybe on the top of a mountain. After melting, I would have become a part of a river or a stream. The river would have either joined a lake or would have become a part of the azure sea. But the reality is that I turned into water and became a part of the Rayleigh Lake.
What happened to the other raindrops? Did they land in the Rayleigh Lake too?
No, some of them fell on the ground and flowed into the rivers and streams dotting the city. I also saw raindrops seeping into the ground, where they formed groundwater.
So water that evaporates comes back to the earth in the form of rainfall, hailstorms, or snow.
Yes, and this circulation of water is called the water cycle.
Congratulations! You have successfully completed.
Thank you, students.